All right, everybody, welcome back to our Your Story podcast. I'm extremely excited to go behind the veil of this individual and find out more of this person's story. I have Holly Newton with me, who has, kind of budded like a rose in 2023, and I believe is going to knock the cover off the ball in 2024. But I think this is a fine moment for us, Miss Holly, as we, talk about your story, because your story is not just what you're doing now, and it's not just what you're doing in the future. It's what has made you who you are. Like, you're ready for this moment because of everything prior, right? So I'm excited to hear about that. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. I think you're a rock star. I've told you this in many ways. You channel Mindy to me in a lot of ways, like wisdom and like ability and skill set, like just like really off the charts. But like you know you gotta pull a little. You gotta pull it a little bit, and that excites me. And when I talk to you, you know I'm learning more and more about you. And I'm really encouraged by this podcast because I'm going to learn more in 25 minutes, as is the world, um, than I have so far. So thank you for getting on with me. Thank you for being willing to share. And, let's get into it. So when you think about, where you are today and some of the things you've had to endure to get here, like how you were raised and some of the things that you've seen growing up and becoming the woman you are today, can you detail that story for us? Walk us down that path.
Absolutely. Um, well, I had a pretty, I would say, boring upbringing. I'm very grateful for my upbringing. Honestly, my parents are Christians. I was raised in a Christian home. We went to church. We were very involved in church. I learned at a very early age about ministering, helping people, helping families, sacrificing, and giving to others. Um, I was raised that way. I was also raised to be a hard worker. My dad is my biggest inspiration. I will say that. He left behind a legacy for me, my siblings to carry on. He's still with us though. I mean, I'm not saying he passed, but
That's what it sounded
he
like. I was like, I
carries.
was waiting for that. I'm sorry. I was waiting for that drop, but I'm so glad to hear that. Praise God. Let's keep it moving.
No, like he has a current living legacy for us to carry on, is what I should have said.
Nice.
But he grew up in deep South Kentucky, broke, very very poor. At the age of 17, it was either join the Navy or live in that same podunk town for the rest of his life. 17 years old, he joined the Navy. He was stationed in San Diego. That's where I met my mom, and then got her out of a scary situation, brought her back to Kentucky, and raised a family. At 19, he had me. And in the Navy, he picked up a skill, electrician work and stuff like that. And with absolutely no education other than, whatever the union puts you through and whatnot, he started a business. And he started an electrical company in our small little town and has grown and built it into this big industry that he has in our hometown. And he worked hard. I remember lots and lots of days where he was gone till the sun was down. But I remember at a very young age, he would be every morning, early in the morning. I can always spend time with my dad because he'll be up reading his Bible. He'll make me breakfast. And some of those late nights that he'll come in, I'll be up waiting for him, and he'll take me to Wendy's. We'll get a junior bacon cheeseburger and a fry.
I love it.
And that was our thing. That was our thing. And still to this day, he'll joke about going to take me to Wendy's. But the biggest thing that my dad gave me was the skill of knowing how to work hard. I didn't grow up poor. I actually didn't even know that we were well off. My dad didn't spoil us. He taught me to work for what I wanted, work for what we needed. And I carried that on throughout college. I was always a hustler. I didn't have to work. My dad paid for my college. I picked up all the odd jobs I could just to have, a little bit of stability,
Mhm.
have a little bit of money in the bank and things like that. And then carry that on after me and my husband got married. Side hustle after side hustle after side hustle while working a full time job, just wanting to bring something to the table for the family. And then, we were in ministry when we lived in Kentucky for the first 4 years of our marriage. And then God called us to move to California, which was a really scary time of our lives, to be honest. It was 2020, it was the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
We were living in a wide open state at that time. And then we had to move out to California where everything was very much not wide open. I won't go into politics or anything like that, but it was not ideal.
I love it.
It was not ideal.
Wide open versus not wide open is enough, is as political as you need to get right now.
It was a scary time, Mark. I didn't have to work when we were living in Kentucky. Cost of living was so cheap there. My husband worked in ministry full time. I kind of volunteered at a school, Christian school, and helped there. I had a daughter; she was 2 at the time. But God was really directing our paths. It was clear as day He wanted us in California.
Hmm.
So the day we sold our house, I actually found out I was pregnant. So we were expecting our second child. We moved to California, and again, everything was closed up. It was scary. We God led us to a church that was completely, like, barely had a heart that was beating.
Hmm.
It was really rough. It was tough. We couldn't afford housing. The church gave us I wouldn't call it a house, but it was a house that was on church property. We had to fix it up. It was very, um, it was very old and very outdated. Um, I would say almost dangerous to live in at some points. No heating and air. And I remember we were, we're living in California, had my son. It was middle April. And I just remember laying there thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to die. We have no money for groceries. The heat was so bad. I'm dead serious, Mark. It was so bad. It was awful. I would just tell you that. But hey, God is good. um, he delivered. He really did.
I love it.
And then I really came down to the realization after many, many nights of calculating, doing math. My husband, I would roll over in the middle of the night and he has his calculator out, he's doing math. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? He can't pick up another job. I'm going to have to find another side hustle to run with. But with everything going on in the state, with the expenses and everything, like, there wasn't enough that I could make to really help the family. Anything part time or full time, then I had to pay for childcare. Like, I was looking for an answer.
Wow.
And then I kept seeing Mindy post about Family First Life, kept seeing Gabe, Matt, and Mike post about Family First Life, and it just really intrigued me. I went to college with all of them. We were all pretty good friends then. And I just kept watching, kept watching, kept watching. I tried a few random side hustles. It wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be. Um, and then one day I ended up messaging one of Mindy's downlines and I said, hey, I want to know about the business. And she told me about all the bad, all the good. Same for Mindy. I think they almost tried to scare me out of it, but I didn't care. I said, I need to do something and I need to do something now.
Wow.
So I sped through my course.
Real quick, at what point, where did your husband come in at? Like, you just had the autonomy to kind of find something and go do something, or, were you willing it? Were you like force feeding him?
My husband never once told me you need to work, Holly. Never once. We made it each month with, after all the bills were paid, maybe just a handful of dollars left in the bank account. God still provided for us for what we needed. We still ate. God still provided. but we had dreams, we had goals. We owned a house in Kentucky, and we sold that to move to California. We sold all of our furniture and everything to move to California. And he never once told me I would have to work. He never put that pressure on me, not once. But we were both looking on Zillow, every single day, thinking, oh, maybe the housing market would drop. Well, of course it didn't. 2020, 2021, we all know how the housing market is. Inflation went crazy.
Right.
Gas was up to like almost $9 a gallon. It was insane. We were dreamers. We
Oh
were
my
big
God, we're
dreamers.
gonna die.
It felt like it.
Now I'm getting that picture a lot better now. Got it.
It was a very trying time. Honestly, it was scary. It was a complete leap of faith for investing $800 in leads. My first batch. I mean, that was a little scary. We were very hopeful that it would work out, but I had peace with it. I remember I told my husband, I said, "Hey, I messaged so and so about Family First Life," and he's like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, I think this is the answer. This is what we're going to do." And he said, "Okay, I believe in you. Let's do this."
Wow.
And I told him all the ins and outs. He was all for it. He's been very supportive of me from the very beginning, even though I had zero sales experience. Zero, absolutely nothing. And my husband, he's actually was a salesman many, many times throughout college and throughout our early days of dating and everything. For some reason, he had confidence in me. And looking back now, I don't know why he did, but he did.
That's great.
We took that little bit of money we had back, ready to buy that first house in California whenever that day was ever going to come, and invested in leads. And I remember making my first sale and how excited I was. And it was in person too. It was before I switched to telesales. And I remember thinking, okay, this is it. We're going to not only have extra at the end of the month, we can actually afford good food for the family, but I'm going to be able to save. I'm going to buy our family a house. I'm going to get us out of this parsonage that the church put us up in, And that was January of 2022 when I made that first sale. And
that was the declaration. January 22 was the declaration. Got it. Keep going.
2022, the beginning part was a huge struggle. I was in the field. It was pretty much before telesales was getting popular to try. Excuse me. But oh man, it was tough. Driving all over Southern California because you buy leads in a county. Well, my county is 4 hours one way, 4 hours another way. I couldn't book very many appointments because they were like hours apart from each other. I was getting no-showed. Gas was so expensive in certain areas, and I would try to drive around and find it where it was like $7 a gallon versus $9. Getting no-showed in the field was tough. And then I remember after my third sale in the field, and I was about a month in at that point, I remember calling Mindy saying, I think I need to try to do this virtually over the phones. And she said, do it. Let's figure it out. And she helped me figure it out. We figured out a script. We figured out everything. We laid it out to do it over the phones. And the moment I switched to doing that, I was instantly seeing more success. I wasn't wasting time hours on the road anymore. I was actually able to help families right then and there with a single phone call.
Wow.
And that changed like everything after that. I remember going to Detroit to a sales conference in April of that year. And I learned so much. I was motivated. It wasn't like a convention or anything like that. I didn't go in 2022, but I learned so much, and that really motivated me to do better, work harder, be consistent. And by the end of 2022, I was able to end the year with helping just shy 2 families of 200 families for that year.
Wow.
And then I go to convention 2023. Then I realized I was shy 2 families for a little award. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I thought Hall of Fame was it. That was it. You know, you hit Hall of Fame, you get an award. I didn't realize you get an award for hitting it halfway. And then in 2023, after the convention, I sat there and I told everyone that I was around, I said at the awards night, I said, I'm going to hit Hall of Fame this year. I will do it. And not only that, I'm going to buy my family that house that we've been wanting. And then I think a month later, I had a podcast with you. I told you I was house shopping that next day. And we put an offer. I mean, we barely put an offer. They were giving us the house, honestly. Gated community. It was safe. No more homeless people showing up at the pastor's house, right? Everything I prayed for a house, Mark, it's this house.
Wow.
Colors, everything I prayed for a playground to be in the neighborhood. The moment we closed on the house, construction workers were finishing that playground outside.
Wow.
Just a couple feet away from our house. You know, it's incredible to see just a year in the business at that point. It was about a year and a half at that point when we closed on our house. Just a year and a half of just being consistent, hard work. Actually, I would say a year because it was April when I was at that sales conference in Detroit where I realized, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be consistent. The following April is when we closed on the house. It's crazy to think how 1 year of hard work, relying on God to help you, being consistent, what the rewards will be. It's incredible. And now we're at the end of 2023. I checked the issue paid report just a few minutes ago. It's $399 and $400.
Let's go.
Right there.
Let's go.
Thank you.
I love it.
I also determined that I was going to bring agents with me this year. I was going to try it out. I was nervous. I got my first agent literally the week I moved into the house, about April or May. And I was scared. I was nervous. I thought this is going to hold me back. I'm not going to hit Hall of Fame this year because I'm going to be having to manage a new baby agent. Well, she blew me out of the water. 5 families her first week.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay. And I barely had a helper. This is great. Then I get a couple more agents, and some agents are more needy than others, which I love it. At this point, I was able to see, at this point right now, in December, I was able to have several of my agents at the Tri-State dinner. I was able to bring several to into a walk-in. I got several who are able to pay off their cars.
Wow.
These are young kids too. Afford to live in their apartments. They're not late on their bills anymore. They're able to get in a car wreck and literally buy a brand new car that next day. You know, a part-time mom able to buy her dream mom SUV car. You know, things like that. And the awards for helping the agents for all these months and getting them to a position to where they're stable now in their business, that in itself is so satisfying for me, because now I'm seeing families helping their own families that I get to be a part of it, and that's huge. I didn't dream I would have a team by the end of 2023. I was focused on my goals personally, and then now I had a team. I think last month we hit a little over 100 families as a team for November, and I can't wait to see what next year will bring. Not even for me. I hit my goals. My family's in a nice house. I hit Hall of Fame. I want to see a team grow. I want to see these kids, these parents, fulfill their goals and what they want for their families, that house or that car that they want, you know, and things like that. That's what 2024 is going to be all about, and I'm excited for it.
I want to say no words, but I'm definitely not lost for words. But I'm definitely in awe and excited about what you're saying. And I just think it's really awesome, you know. You were focused on your goal. First off, there's a lot you said in this story but declaring that you're going to be a Hall of Famer, right, is speaks to why people need to go to big events. Every decision you made was at some type of big event.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't believe in myself.
Right.
It took seeing other people say the same thing and accomplish it and speak it out loud with a microphone to make me believe in myself.
That's amazing. And now you're a force. And here's the truth, man. You know, you're a force to be reckoned with, you know, in the most positive way imaginable. You are going, like, so I started this by saying you channel Mindy. You remind me of my wife, Robin. That's now what I'm seeing and listening to you. Because what I hear is a lot of quiet strength. And it looks one way, but it's definitely not what it looks and sounds like. It's a force. It's a beam. It's a beam that cuts. That's cutting through, you know, walls and bricks and glass and diamonds. And when that beam is illuminated for good and great things, it's over. It's over. It's literally a wrap. And that's what I see. I see you impacting a lot of people, like I see Mindy doing. That's what I think I was saying in the beginning. Like I see, I had this conversation with Mindy a year and a half ago. And it's like, I said, if you do not, you've stolen from a lot of people. Now, that's bold and it's audacious and it might even be rude. But I don't know what else to say when I see talent at the Mindy level helping just herself. I don't know what else to say. You know, I see that talent in you. It shows up different. It's reserved and quiet and calm, but it is forceful. And the forcefulness is in service and in helping people. Like, that's a beam that can cut anything, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. And so as you're telling your story and you're forecasting, hey, I'm hitting Hall of Fame, I agree. And now you're here, done. That goal is in the books. And somewhere along the line, somewhere along the journey, you said, I was focused on me, but I wanted to now be focused on others, even though I was scared. What was that? How did that go inside of you? And now you guys are over 100 families, and I believe you're going to have a massive 2024. But I want to hear from you. I want the audience to hear from you.
Yeah, all of 2022, I just worked by myself. It was just me. I didn't have any agents with me, and I was able to get, halfway to Hall of Fame. And then 2023 was all about serious goals. Okay, now it's time to get my family out of this house, right? Now it's time to hit that massive goal, hit Hall of Fame, do all of that. And then maybe I'll think about having an agent. I was just honestly keeping it to myself. I didn't want to talk about my job. I didn't want to talk about the business. People who asked me, well, can I do this? I'm like, it's hard work. I would honestly scare them away without even telling them about it. And honestly, I feel really bad because now I have close friends of mine who are in their course, about to take their test and things like that. And I'm like, man, I could have been helping them a year ago, right? So now I feel bad for not ever sharing my business. I wanted to post about it. I want to post the boards. I wouldn't share about my big days or big weeks. I was keeping it to myself, and it was honestly selfish of me. And I think I remember you saying something similar to that, that it needs to be told. It needs to be shared. I'll be doing people a disservice. I remember you pricking my heart on our last podcast, and I was like, man, he is so right. And that was about March or February or March, whenever we had that talk. And then I got my first agent within a couple of months of that. And
dude, it was so hard to read you that day. I was like, where am I? Did I just enter the point of no return? Like, what happened here? I just didn't know. And I told Minnie, I remember telling Minnie, I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I offended Holly or I don't know.
You did not offend me. You scared me to my core. You lit a fire in me, honestly.
In what way? Like, what was the fire? What was the scare to your core? What does that mean?
I do not want the responsibility of not helping someone becoming successful.
Mm.
I saw at that point, whenever we talked, I saw what this business has done for my family, provided in huge ways, not only for the Newton family, but extended family, family and friends, helping so many others in need, being able to give to our ministry in big ways.
Mm.
I have family that are missionaries, living in the Philippines. My older brother, being able to give him the funds needed for many things, being able to see the fruits of what my dollar here can do in the Philippines, whatever, how many pesos that is, being able to see, provide for family and friends, be able to, hey, I sent groceries to your house. I know you're in need, things like that. Being able to be that person to help others. That's one thing I love about this business. I don't feel like I'm a salesperson. I feel like I'm just helping families.
Praise God.
Helping them with a product that can change their life. Now I get to bring agents under me and show them how to do the exact same thing while they are helping their own families itself. That is the best part about this business. That is something I did not know I could be a part of, because I was keeping it to myself. I wasn't recruiting. I wasn't telling people about the job. Sadly, I went so long without it, but I'm so happy now I can bring in people who are able to now finally pay their bills, pay off debt, pay off their cars, buy a new car, things like that. That right there is like the biggest thing in this business. Is not being able to hit Hall of Fame. It's not being able to help X amount of families a day, a week, a month. It's bringing people along and changing their lives. That's the most special thing about this industry.
And I saw that, when you told your story about ministry and, your husband in ministry and you being involved in a church, I'm like, okay, what am I missing something here? Because the opportunity is you can help and share. You're helping and sharing. You live a life of service. Like, all right, why don't we just take a piece of what you're doing in service and share that way? That was my challenge. I wasn't looking to scare anyone to anyone's core. I just wanted to illuminate a little light on what you are now, right? And now the next step is like, I want to illuminate light on, having the kind of year that Mindy had, which is what you're going to do. And it's like, it's amazing. It is amazing. And I was telling Gabe and Joe, and I was like, Holly Newton. It was late at the party I was like, you watch Holly Newton. I was like, watch out for Holly Newton. And they was like, yeah, she's, they knew, but I'm just like, I got my money. Hey, you want to you want to bet? You want to put money into a rising stock? I know where my buddies go. It's so, man, it was an honor to hear you tell your story. There's so many things to it, but at the end of the day, with your passion, that's really what I hear with you. I hear passion. That's a passion for service. And knowing that, money's not the enemy. Money helps with the passion for service. And understanding like we can bring as much value as this industry's set up to bring as much value as you can possibly bring to people and help them make money and help them and use that money for great and good things. So you're doing exactly that. I knew I'd learn more about you today. So when you said what you said about keeping it to yourself, that's what, that was Nina's story as well. Very similar, and she got a bug similar to the way you got a bug, and the rest is history. And I see a lot of the strength you have, and I know what you can do with that. So I'm a fan. I'm here. If you need me, I'm cheerleading all the time, every day. And as Mindy and I always talk about, I'll never stop believing. And so, do you have a team name yet?
Yeah. Greater Legacy.
Greater Legacy. Love it. Is it done?
I haven't hit official logo yet.
Okay.
I branded it. It's on shirts.
Love it. Well, you're gonna get it. Is that a mirror of what your dad, Greater
Yes.
Legacy?
My dad created a legacy for me and my family. I got two brothers who are writers for me as well. And one brother in particular, I was talking to him, said, what about a name? What should we name this? He was like, Legacy. I was like, you're right. Look what dad set up for us. Look what dad has taught us. And I said, you know what? We'll make it greater. We'll call it Greater Legacy. So
Wow.
that's where the name derived from.
Listen, man. Money's in on the stock on Holly Newton. All my chips in the middle of the table. I'm ready to roll. Anything you need from me, you let me know. Thank you for sharing on our podcast. This was an amazing story. I can't wait to watch Greater Legacy do greater things and do the things that it's called to do. Because you guys, I didn't know you were in business with your brothers, but it sounds like you guys are on a mission. So congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on Hall of Fame. And congratulations on a huge 2024. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm speaking life, Holly Newton.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep listening, y'all. This is the Barn Burner. Thank you so much, Holly. God bless.